Hi, welcome to the Novice Leader. I'm your host, Amy Lewis. On this podcast, we explore leadership ideas and theories through the eyes of someone who has virtually zero real world experience with leadership, me. So, my big claim to fame on the leadership world is I was my high school cheer captain. Woo! And I've been a mom for 21 years now. So, and yes, I do think mom is a really important leadership title, and maybe one day we will just dive into that. Um, I consider although I don't have very much experience in leadership, I consider myself a very good observer and a very good collector of information. So we're just going to look at different ideas and theories and dive in. And on today's episode, we will be looking at Marshall Gant's Four Pillars of Leadership. So Marshall Gantz is a lecturer at Harvard in their leadership department. He has worked with Cesar Chavez and the migrant farmers. He has worked with the Sierra Club, and he has worked with the Barack Obama presidential campaign, which was obviously very successful. So we're going to learn what he says. And he says that there are four pillars of leadership, and they are relationship, story, strategy, and action. We will quickly go over how Gantz utilizes these ideas in his leadership. And then spend some time talking about my personal experiences, where I've had failures or successes in these, and move on from there. So, the first pillar, relationships. So, a relationship consists of two individuals that form a bond over exchangeable interests and resources and requires a commitment to helping each other. So, say John is a great tennis coach and he loves tennis, and Gary has a tennis court and he wants to make some money on it. They have a shared interest. They have resources that they can share and exchange, and they're committed to helping each other be successful in this arena. So, this is as opposed to like one-sided conversations like emails or, somebody outside of Walmart trying to get your signature on a petition. So that those are just one-sided. Number two, the most important one for Gantz is story. And he kind of breaks this down into three different sections. My story. How do I define myself? What's the story I tell about myself? Your story. How do you define yourself? And then third, how do those overlap so that we can create a story that motivates us both to take action? Number three is strategy. And in simplest terms, this is a quote from Gans, and he says, strategy is turning resources you have into the power you need to get what you want or to get your goal. So in strategy, you have to decide who is on your team, what are the resources you have, and how are you going to combine everything together to accomplish your goal, obviously. And strategy is going to look different on every project because obviously you all have different goals, you all have different resources, and so and then the fourth one was kind of the trickiest one to research about. There's no witty saying or a clear definition on this one, but it is action. And I think this one's the hardest one because this is the one where rubber meets the road. This is the part that moves beyond theories and idea and actually requires risk and effort and sacrifice. This is where you move beyond the training arena and into battle where there will be obstacles and there will be losses. So this is a little bit scary to get into the action part. And this is where your character will be tested and your reputation will be established. So the action part is hard, I think, for a lot of people. So let's start with the two that I think I'm good at. I think I'm good at storytelling. So when my kids were little, I forced them to live out my childhood dream of being an actress. Yes, I forced them to be children actors. And I say that kind of tongue in cheek. My kids probably never would have asked for it because they didn't know, but they had a ton of fun, made friends, had some really cool experiences, and then free food. Free food is the best perk of the entertainment industry, but I regress. Back to leadership and storytelling. When you go into an audition, you're almost always asked, what do you like to do for fun? Or tell me a little bit about yourself, right? They want to get to know you. And you need to have something that's short, sweet, smart and entertaining, ready to share. And you need to present yourself as someone who is multidimensional, full of life experiences, fun, adventurous, kind, and someone who is marketable. And you have to do this all in 30 to 45 seconds. So that is a lot. So creating a crisp, colorful picture of yourself takes practice. You have to learn what to edit out and what to include and what to embellish. And you have to be 100% honest because casting directors absolutely can smell a fake. And so can most people. Unless you are a really, really good con artist, be honest. Be brutally honest with who you are and what you bring to the table. And you have to just draw people in and leave them wanting more about you. So I feel like I have really developed this skill, how to tell a really good story, how to remove the fluff and tell a story that's meaningful in a very concise way. Um, and it gives people a context of who you are and where you fit into your story and into their story. Um, so the final step of storytelling is when it comes to leadership is figuring out how to combine my story and your story to create a shared goal. And this is where my novice leadership status comes into play. I haven't had many opportunities to build and create momentum and build a movement and to do something with this. So what else am I good at? I feel like I am really good at strategy. Um, I love planning. It is so much fun, creative problem solving, combing through processes to find the most efficient route. Don't have too many steps, have enough steps, don't leave anything out, and what makes the most sense. Combining and finding resources, thinking outside of the box. I don't, just all these things just make me so happy. I love doing this part. Um, so the process of getting my bachelor's degree here at Cal Poly Humboldt has really been a catalyst for a lot of growth in me. The number one lesson I have learned so far is the power of writing things down. Through my leadership classes and my general education classes, I have had the opportunity to clarify who I am, what I think, why I think it, what I want to do with that information, and where I want to go. So definitely writing things down and my next step in growing to my storytelling is learning how to combine my story and your story to accomplish a goal, whether it be big or small, but how to make it feel natural. I don't want to have to manipulate you into anything. I really don't like that. I don't want you to feel used. I don't want you to feel like you're using me. I really want to be able to combine stories so that we can work together. And then in my strategy uh, game, man, I want to up that. I want to know all the options I have. I really feel like I haven't been out in the world and learned a lot of options for different problems, but I get to watch leaders from a distance make really great moves. And um, I want to learn how do they do that? How do they see that? Where did they learn that from? Where can I learn it from? And strategy. So, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. I would like to dive deep in some other leadership concepts or maybe just skim the surface of some. That's fine too. And I'm particularly excited to sit down with some great leaders in my life and just figure out how do you do it? How do you make it work? How do you stay motivated? How do you motivate other people to keep going? And so, until next time, this is Amy Lewis, the Novice Leader.